Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the weekend update. It was an interesting, to say the least, holiday shortened week this past week. We may have started to see the large caps continue that sell-off that is desperately needed, but each and every time it looks like we're going to see that much needed sell-off, the Fed comes in and helps prop the market up. But we're looking here at the Dow daily chart right now, and I left this uptrend line in place because the Dow is trying to fight to get back above it, but it's unable to. Each day it's able to get above it, it falls back below. And, you know, we're in an interesting place on the chart here, on the Dow chart. We could see, you know, we're oversold, could see a bounce back, but we could equally see a continued sell-off. If we look over at, this is the 15-minute, or actually the 1-hour chart here on the Dow, you can see we've got this downtrend resistance in place. What we've seen recently is they tend to try and bounce the market to start the week off, and that is what it's looking like is going to happen. Now, it's all going to depend on how they treat the tech stocks. This is the daily chart for the QQQ large cap techs. Really have taken it on the chin in the last few days. A lot of reasons for it, aside from the fact that some of these stocks are up 40% in August, and you know, there's a lot of stories about why that is the case. SoftBank going in and going crazy buying options, and you know, the Lambo crowd, they've left the small cap stocks and they're trading the I can't lose money, I'm trading options even though I don't know what the heck I'm doing crowd. That's part of the reason we're seeing these kinds of sell-offs here. Each time it looks like the tech stocks are going to bounce back, another wave of selling hits. You can see here just extreme selling action over the last week on the tech stocks. Going into this week, we've got the Fed in the middle of the week. Not much they can say, but it could be used as an excuse to prop the market up. Now, there's just a lot of bad news floating around there. We, again, have not seen anything come out of Washington for the stimulus plan. And, you know, it's not going to take the tech stocks selling off is not going to make these clowns do a deal. We need to see the large cap Dow, the big ones, the boring stocks get slapped around for them probably to do a deal. Unlikely at this stage before the election. And, you know, we should start to see that bad information show up in the numbers probably in the next 2 to 3 weeks. And then, you know, just the wrong time for the election. I'm holding my fingers or holding my breath here thinking these guys might do a deal. It's much needed, but it's probably not going to happen. But anyway, we've got some stocks to go over today. Let us start off with Jagex, the king of the turds. Last time we spoke, we talked about how this chart, even with all the good news that Jagex had, that's a rare occurrence to see a chart like this not have a bounce. And sure enough, come Thursday, it ended up being silly news that actually bounced this stock. You just never know in this market, but it ended up gapping up to 54 cents. Now, here's a quick lesson here. If you rode the stock all the way down, and I told you last Friday at 31 cents that you would be able to sell the stock at 54 cents in the next week, you would be dancing around and cheering and going, yes, fantastic. Yet, on Thursday, when this stock was 54 cents, many guys were not selling it because they got in at 55 cents or they got in at 60 cents or they got in at 70 cents, and they're not taking a loss here, even though a few days earlier, if they told them they were going to make a 60-70% bounce gain on this stock, they would have been cheering and partying. So the point of that is, guys, just because you're in higher, look at when a stock moves from an extreme level. The amount of crying on this stock down here, again, if I told you down here at 30 cents, you would be able to sell this stock at 50 cents, you would be happy as happy can be. Yet, when it gets up there, you're not. I'm not saying you sell all your position, but you at least sell half or 3/4, because look what happened intraday on this stock. Remember, this is a market where stocks that get news and gap, very few of them are holding that because there's a lot of scalpers in this market. A lot of people are still buying positions like they did in June and July when they should be playing half positions, and they're still buying expecting stocks to do what they did in June and July, go up 50% or 100% in an hour. We are not in that tape. This is what we call a normal market right now. Stop over trading these stocks. You can't be overloading them, because when these guys buy these over large positions, if the stocks don't instantly move in 5 seconds, they run out the door, and the market makers and the robotic trading programs know and see that, and they short and react just like that. Now, as you can see, this bounce chart gave a fantastic bounce move. So we're going to look at some other bounce plays. And actually, I went a little bit of shopping this past week in the swing account. INUV still remains my favorite play for this year. This is a medium to long-term hold for me. That's how I'm approaching it. Deep oversold here. It's at the bottom of its channel right now. Did get a positive MACD cross on Friday, and we do see stochastics inching up. So this chart looks ready for a move. Where's the break spot? 45 cents. Now, remember when we were talking about JAGX a week ago, I said it was going to be that 37 to 38 cent area. Ended up getting up to that level last Wednesday before it ran. So we're going to be looking at this 45 cent area for the chaser crowd to start coming in. Another totally beaten up chart, HTGM, deep oversold on RSI. Now look here, we're about to get a positive MACD cross after an extreme negative MACD. The last time we saw this, the chart actually moved upwards 60% into it. Right now, we're flatlined. So I'm viewing this as a bullish indicator for this stock into the next week. Everything is oversold chart-wise, so this should be the week we see that bounce up. Speaking of dog stocks, CHFS. Now, I jumped out of this stock when these clowns decided to do an offering up there at 90 cents when they were trying to keep the stock over $1. And we know what happened after that. It just got absolutely hammered all the way back down. Now, you can see here, similar chart as we see in JAGX. So we're now looking at CHFS. They actually got a 6-month NASDAQ extension, which is why I jumped back into this one with this chart set up like this. We're also about to get a MACD cross here. RSI in the basement, stochastics starting to curl up. So these are all the things that I look for when I'm looking to get into a bounce play. Freedom area on this stock, probably 37, 38 cent area. Anywhere around these low 30s looks to be a very attractive add in the swing account. Last beaten up play, DXLG. Had a great earnings report in my opinion, and it responded accordingly and ran all the way up to 51 cents, and then they bled it down. Now the volume has started to dry off on this one. It's sitting right down here at the bottom. 50-day up there, 37. Looks like a very nice bounce spot. Stochastics in the basement. Nice setup going into the upcoming week. Now I wanted to mention quickly Tesla. Tesla was a fantastic ad on Tuesday after hours. 316 ended up bouncing all the way back up to almost 400. It's treading water here. This is a play into battery day, which is September 22nd. Now, the tech stocks are making it difficult for Tesla to continue its move here. 50-day, you see this uptrend line here? It also corresponds to the 50-day moving average. So I would probably be looking for an add if we did see a dip into the 340s this upcoming week. Unless we see tech stocks go on a tear, I think Tesla's probably going to retrace a little near term. Now, we've been playing some plays for battery day. PLM ended up moving we were looking for $4.50 to $5 on PLM. Got some news. They won a case, and up it went. Ended up trading as high as $6. Very, very nice action. Again, when it's down here and you get this kind of move, you take money off the table, guys. You don't go, well, now it's up here, I think I'll get 10. Not in a market like this. This is a take big gains market when they appear. Now, if we look over here at the 1-hour chart, again, if Tesla is a little bit weak this week, we could see an add opportunity in the 330 area. So that's where we're going on this one. Now, PLG, this is a new swing for battery day. They own a lot of assets. It's a Canadian nickel player, but they also have a battery division, which most people are unaware of. Nice setup here on the chart, holding nicely above the $2 range. Picked up swing shares to 10-ish, 11-ish area on Friday. Anything in this area into battery day, this is an unknown play that looks good into the coming week. ARPO. I have referred to this company as Baby Navex. If you look at the news that these guys have pumped out, these guys are playing with the big dogs. And by that, I mean They are in partnership with and working with and getting spoken with these mega pharmaceutical companies when it comes to COVID. This stock should not be here. This stock, in my opinion, should be worth more than I buy on some of these really high price stocks. But it's sitting here waiting for news. Now, is now a good time for these stocks, these COVID stocks, to put out news? Tough to say. We have seen some nice bounces with news in the last week, but it's one of those markets where we've got a lot of action on one day and it's dead and snoozy the next day. So I still very much like this stock. And you can see in this market, these guys got a European patent on Thursday for their COVID drug, and the stock popped and then ended up breaking down 10 cents from its low of the day prior to that news, telling you there's just a lot of skittishness out there on these stocks, but they can move when they get the right reason. DSS, similar story, holding above the 525 area. Breakout is 6. Break of the downtrend would be $6. Kind of in no man's land here for the upcoming week. ADMP, 1 hour chart, looks very, very good. Again, this is one waiting on news, just like OGEN. This is the other one too, waiting on news. We've got good support here in the mid 50s and downtrend break, probably 70 cents. MACD cross coming. Again, news plays. We're waiting on news on these, and we're also waiting to see if these stocks will move on news, which is why they continue to be small positions while we wait. Last stock I want to mention real quickly, GRQS. Apple has their event this upcoming week. Now, they're just releasing information on the watch, but there's also some chatter that they could talk about 5G. These guys here are a 5G player, and you can see every week or so, this stock has a big spike up towards the 200-day moving average. Nice setup here. Close above the 50-day 110 would set it free for a potential move to $1.50. So that's it. Last thing I want to say before I go. This can be a difficult market at times. That is why we are playing half positions. That is why we are taking half days. This is a market where you can overtrade and lose a lot of money, whereas I'd like to sit back, look at the action, and play the brief periods of action that we see. Last week, that brief period of action was on Wednesday, where everything under the sun was moving, but then Thursday and Friday, everything went to sleep. Markets like that, 50% cash or 50% positions. And by that, I mean, if you normally buy 1,000 shares of a stock, a half position market is you only buy 500 shares. You sit back, you don't overtrade. When the action wakes up on those days, and there might be 1 or 2 days a week where there's great action and the rest of the week is sleepy, you take a half day off. You recharge the batteries. You don't try to overtrade. If you try to overtrade a market like this, you're going to get drained and not be alert or see the times when you actually should press when the action gets good. So that's it for the video, guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you have not, and I will see you all in the chat room tomorrow. Bye.